A warning before you listen.
What you are about to hear is not meant for children, nor for the faint of heart. This is an unfiltered retelling of ancient myths, told as they were born, raw, violent, unsoftened. Expect scenes of brutality, curses that linger, betrayals that reshape fate, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. These myths were never meant to lull children to sleep. They were forged in blood, shadow, and fire. So ask yourself, are you ready to hear them as they were first told? Sources and references can be found in the episode description. Chapter 3. From the Chaos Epic. Gaia and Uranus. From Chaos to Tyranny. The ceiling that crushed the goddess. As her body thickened, as her tremors no longer faded into themselves, Gaia birthed three forces by herself. The mountains rising from her hips like ribs gasping for air. Aurea, the inner sea, spilling from between her thighs like a scream unscreamed. And Uranus, the sky. She didn't create him out of desire. She created him because she needed a ceiling, a boundary, a breath from above that might match the quaking within. But when she looked at him, it wasn't enough. Yes, she had given birth, but she had not yet been touched. In the beginning, she stretched alone, felt her own form, reshaped it again and again like a memory that refuses to forget the first violation. She knew she was incomplete, not broken, but missing something. Something she couldn't name, couldn't picture, but deeply craved. She looked upward and wished something would fall, not to seed her, but to define her, to whisper, "Here, you end." She wanted edges. She wanted to feel fullness, not from within, but from above. And then it came, not as light, not as grace, not as longing, but as pressure. A blue force dropped upon her, like a wall clenched in hatred. A sky that longed for her, but didn't know how to touch. That was Uranus. He did not descend like a lover, but like a conqueror, a ceiling dangling from a ruthless urge, crashing down on her body like a wall of velvet cruelty, soft to the skin, but cleaving to the soul. He was beautiful, not in feature, but in dominance. Vast, not in size, but in his ability to cover everything. He touched her the first time without asking, like a woman who mistook waiting for a promise of embrace, but was met with invasion. Uranus was no romantic. He was a flood of dominance poured onto a fragile, yearning form. And for a moment, Gaia believed this might be fulfillment. Instead, it was a curse poured into her. When he entered her, there was no pleasure. It was sealing a crack, a forced fit, as if spilling himself into her was merely a way to ensure she'd never feel alone again. Gaia didn't scream, she trembled, not in ecstasy, but in a voiceless gasp, because something had happened to her, but not with her. The sky did not fertilize the earth. It settled upon her like a soft nightmare, a weight that would never lift, a presence she never wanted, but could never push away. There was no love, only sacred occupation. No kiss, just a twisting in the ribs of the earth. And Uranus? He did not enter to seek delight. He entered to affirm, "You are beneath me. I will remain above you, and all your cries will die inside you." Over and over he descended on her, like moonless night, like clouds pressing her body until it swelled from within. She opened, split, sealed again, and remained silent. Each time the earth grew wider, heavier, not with the weight of motherhood, but of imprisonment. She did not lie beneath a sky, but beneath a ceiling that would not whisper, would not speak, would not love. It only loomed, imposing its presence like law, and with every thrust of his body into hers, something was lost. A dream, a warmth, a piece of feminine dignity she once thought would be quenched by the sky's touch. But Uranus was no sky. He was a shackle, a ceiling without sun, a shadow without meaning. A man not made to understand Earth, but to imprison her. Each night, Gaia knew he would come, not to hold her, but to repeat the act, the same, with the same indifference, the same weight, the same invasion that left only stillness in its wake. To be used, not desired, to be inhabited, not lived with, to be violated, but with a quiet that kills the scream at its root. Beneath Uranus, the earth trembled, and every cell in her whispered, "I am not yours. Not for your body that doesn't listen. Not for your manhood with no fingers." Gaia, she who had risen from the scream, now found herself a surface to be mounted, a ground for weight, a body stretched beneath a man who would not leave and could not love. And so, their first union was not a joining, but a lesson in dominance. The first night, long and merciless, did not begin with a kiss, nor end in shuddering joy. It ended with a ceiling crushing down on a woman until she forgot that what she longed for was to be touched, not flattened. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, what you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why. We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.